Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining for Java. Today is going to be a little different. I've got a warning. It's very, very early, so I'm not even pulling some market data. It's just too early for that, but I wanted to get this out and I won't be able to come in later. So my apologies for that, but this is Thursday, October 12th, 2023. So the warnings I'll get to in a bit. First for the market, and then second for personal. So we've got an MMRI, and it has retraced back below the 300 level. However, we've got some serious cracks in the foundations, if you will. We got some inflation numbers yesterday, and that has kind of affected this. We are getting more numbers today. And as everyone is looking at the Fed to kind of pause or completely be done with their rate hikes, the yield has retraced a bit. And that yield retracing, along with the relative dollar strength falling, has been bullish for stocks and brought this risk indicator down. However, there's still some very deep issues with not just the inflation, the numbers we're getting initial jobless claims, but also with the banks, because I think that there are a few banks with their numbers that have not been able to kind of push this through. We're seeing very quietly there are a few others that are either closing, merging, or basically selling. So the other part of this is we've got bond traders starting to bail on the winning yield curve bets. Well, what they're talking about is that that yield curve has been so profitable to buy on the short end and have really, really cheap rates and then loan it out on the long end and make that interest spread. So that's kind of part of what's changing. So for the other warning that I wanted to get to is there's been some stories floating out multiple ways in the internet about the 13th, which is tomorrow, that there is a call for Al-Aqsa flood to kind of target areas. And we know this story is on the border because our border has been open for over the last year. And there have been quite a few people that have passed through that have refused to give their fingerprints. They are known, quote unquote, persons of interest for several things that the Border Guard has come across. However, they are in the country now. So I just want to urge caution on that. So going on with that, also with the Al Aqsa flood, it's multiple areas. It's not just the United States. So if you're in other countries, please just be cautious. So for the banks and inflation, got a couple of stories here that feed to one another. The US added $500 billion to debt in less than a month. This is completely spiraling out of control. And as it gets more towards, well, what must be the end, one way or another, the debt must become exponential because to cover what they have must cover what it has plus interest. So then we've got the other story coming with wholesale inflation accelerating more than expected in September. Well, if you're pumping the money supply, that by definition is inflation, and the prices will just follow. So we're getting more numbers today. As we said, we'll see what happens. As far as trade wars or real wars, actually, this is an ex-CIA analyst is 100% sure that Hamas is using US supplied weapons. But the United States has been so loose with their weapons. The only question is exactly how they got them, what channel they got them through. So the story is Washington is expected to prioritize aid now to Israel and put conditions on funding to Ukraine. But Ukraine has already been so overfunded that it's ridiculous. And we don't have the money. That's why we're going in debt. So the only question with this that they're asking is that they could have come from supplies either diverted or resold from Ukraine, Afghanistan that was left behind, or from the Palestinian Authority, which we funded and gave weapons to before. So there's no controls on any of the money that we have put over there. There's no controls over the $6 billion that they just traded to Iran, basically. So, of course, they're funded by us. So, if you would, if you haven't yet, please like this video. I would appreciate that. I've got a couple of updates and then I've got to go. But we've got China. They've got a new quantum computer prototype with digital reporting. So now we can have artificial intelligence not just making up the news and the propaganda for us, but they can also be presenting and cramming that propaganda down our throats instead of a human. So it'll be much easier, can spread much more easily. And yeah, we can look forward to this. So I had one other story I thought was interesting. And this one is about U.S. Army Captain Christopher Pyle. So he was an attorney for the Army decades ago, and he was one of the first ones that brought up and actually fought the spying on United States civilians, which is illegal surveillance. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. And with that, yeah, I just want to remind everyone I don't personally want security. I want freedom, because what's going to happen is they're going to use all of this as an excuse with the Hamas and everything else through the border, all of the illegal immigrants, the eventual crime that will be skyrocketing as an excuse to where they will need to, for our safety, log everyone, get everyone's identity, put tracing and surveillance. And yeah, no, thank you. So, anyway, with that, I wish you all a green trading day or just a wonderful day in general. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.